Welcome everyone to the Vermin Sermon. Today we are off to a great start with my hard drive dying on me. That was quite an
Ooh,
adventure. So, today we don't have a special guest, but we're gonna see if we can get something in the works. And in the meantime, what I wanted to talk about is something that someone commented, and they suggested that we talk about Need for Speed Undercover. So, uh,
you
I
want
want
to
you
give
to
him a
go
shout out?
first. Yeah. Andrew.
The fact that he actually watches our shit, shout out to you, bro.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone who watches this stuff. Well, I was not
Fuck,
expecting like
fuck yes.
any of this to
Hell
happen,
no.
but
No, not even just watching an interaction like that. It's like, oh,
yeah,
damn,
no,
that's good.
that's yeah. Andrew
We better
Silveria.
do.
I probably pronounced that wrong. He was wondering what our opinion of Need for Speed Undercover is, being that it is somewhat unfinished and buggy, and has its own fair share of problems. I want you to go first because I think you kind of played it more when in its heyday. I played it quite a bit after, so yeah.
Oh, That's the thing, because I've played it at its heyday, and like I was like, oh, this is, let's say, like a little kid, because I got it like launch. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, this feels like kind of weird to compare to like the other games, but like,
yeah,
oh, it's all right. But when I went back to play it like 3 years ago, I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. The
yeah.
physics at high speed on the highway are a bit it reminds me like of like scale electrics in a way. It feels a bit like that. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. I have quite a bit of a story. I originally got
Oh,
Need for Speed Undercover quite a bit after it came out on the PS3. I don't remember exactly when, but I'll just say mid 2017. That's probably a good time of, or pretty close to when I got it. I was immediately really annoyed with the load times and other things like that, which
ooh, yeah,
doesn't
that was
affect
annoying.
the actual gameplay, but well, I guess it kind of does. It affects the experience for sure. And so I was the whole time I played it, I was just annoyed. I was just super annoyed. I'm like, oh wait, I forgot. I'm gonna do some performance upgrades. And then I pause, whatever, and that takes forever. Then the AI is weird. I remember there being a little bit of input lag. I don't remember too much. I regretted buying it. I got it used, and then I remember there's this one race, and it's a race you get more money in, but and so it will give you a better payout, but the AI will be more difficult. But I was in the early stages of the game. I got a Lotus Elise, is a pink slip car, and I was up against SLRs and Ford GTs, and it's the AI. It wasn't even that bad. I did manage to win it, but it took a few tries, and I noticed just the collisions were really irritating because you scrape by something, and then that can either not affect you at all or massively slow you down. It's just really weird. The physics, not even just the
Oh,
handling model, but the physics. It's with real world collisions and all of
that
that.
is
It just
bad.
in the
Yeah.
game's world, it collisions just feel weird and a little unnatural. Now I do
Like
know
if you
that
hit like a guardrail, the way like the
yeah,
car like reacts, like sometimes you might just scrape along, or sometimes like you might lose somehow like 50 kilometers, like just junk, like instant
yeah,
stop, like you hit something.
yeah.
It's
It
weird.
was it was not a fun experience. Some time goes by, maybe a few months to a year. It's on Steam and for sale, and I got it for like less than $3, I think. So even the experience I had on PS3, if I had, I guess if that was replicated, I would be okay with that for $3. However, even on a hard drive, this is before I had an SSD. It was the load times were way faster, and again, not really a big, oh that makes this game better, but it makes the experience better. Obviously,
It's
the
like a
other
quality of
issues,
life thing, you
yeah,
think,
yeah,
kinda.
the other issues still persisted, but I could now. I enjoyed the game enough to actually finish it, and what I can say is that while it's a little rough around the edges, and obviously I think half of the development studio was working on Pro Street while they were working ahead of time on Undercover, and I think the real issues with I remember they had these trailers of the heroic driving style, and obviously that not
I
a whole
remember
lot of
those.
people are a fan of that, but for what it's worth, it's a fairly decent game. I was really impressed when I got it for $3 and actually played it and finished it,
That's
whatever.
pretty fucking good for $3.
Yeah, it is, and it's not the best game in the world, but it's a pretty decent game, and also considering what it went through with development. Um,
Hell.
and yeah, and not to and this comparison is gonna irritate a lot of people, and you might disagree, and that's okay. Honestly, this game gives me a similar feeling of enjoyment to Need for Speed Heat. What I mean by let me explain. Let me explain. What I mean by that,
Yeah, I feel like
there's
the 3
fun.
years we have are like, grrr.
There's fun to be had. It's rough around the edges, but there's fun to be had. Would I say one is better than the other? Yes, I think I enjoyed Undercover more than I did. No, I initially okay. Well, first time playing through Heat, I really enjoyed it, but I would consider Undercover a better game. Like there aren't massive clipping issues, etc. They're also kind of difficult games to compare, also because of the timing and this and that, and one's from 2008 and the other one's
Yeah, contemporary time, like
2019.
damage
It's
and all
very
that.
yeah, it's a very different time and everything. It's a weird comparison to make, but I just kind of noticed, Need for Speed Undercover is kind of like, I would imagine it being almost as if Ghost Games was a little bit. I can't even put this into words. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. It gives me like a Ghost Games vibe. Like, oh, this is a game that Ghost made. Like, it almost feels that I don't know what I'm saying right now. So yeah, it for some reason it makes me feel like, oh, it's an okay game. It's rough around the edges. There are problems with it, whatever. Not amazing, but it is what it is. And when I say it reminds me of like something that Ghost would make, I mean, if Ghost only made games such as Heat and games that are better than Heat, not like Payback, that's not a comparison. And again, this is all comparison of feelings, not actual like gameplay mechanics or anything like that.
Okay, analysis, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
I'm a little delirious right now. So if nothing I'm saying is making sense, then there you go. A little bit of IRL stuff. It just took midterms, and my brain is fried. So this should actually hopefully be a good episode. I don't know. This will either be really entertaining from some of the stupid stuff I say, or it'll be really sad. Not sure yet. We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. Yeah. So another thing, besides that, what happened in recent news is the new Need for Speed Black Market DLC. So I have not purchased it because I don't think it's worth $5. But there is a little bit of misinformation going around, and I don't mean this to any specific people. We're not about real drama. Obviously, we have our little quips with Max, the community developer, but that's different. We don't want actual real drama. Well, we're the Vermin Sermon. We do a little comedic stuff on the side, but no. What I mean is there are people saying that the DLC is it's $5 for just one car. That would be outrageous if that were true. It is not $5 for just one car. You get the black market challenges for the McLaren F1, and you get the races that are exclusive to it. Is all of that together worth $5? For me, personally, no. No, it's not worth it. I think it's a little bit of a ripoff. But you know what? It's not $5 for just one car. I don't care if I agree that it's not worth it. I'm not about to spreading misinformation. That's not, no, it's not five, and all the stuff people are saying. Also, people are complaining about, oh, I paid for the deluxe edition. Why do I still have to buy this? Since when did the deluxe edition say that it would give you the car? Oh, wait, it never did. You're an idiot for spending $10 extra. Woohoo!
I was about to say, to be fair, anyone who bought the deluxe edition of that is not the brightest bulb.
Hey, I bought the deluxe edition and I agree with you.
I was about to, and trust me, Rain couldn't
Hey,
come on,
let's
but yeah,
go.
he did too, and he's
Let's
like,
go.
I'm fucking stupid.
Oh no, I was waiting for you to go hard. It would have been even funnier. Like it went too easy.
Hell
I was
no.
like gonna go in. I was like, hey, I bought the deluxe edition, by the way. But here's the
Hell
thing.
no, like you're at
It was
least
a bad.
aware.
Yeah, no, it
You're at
was a
least aware.
stupid
But
decision. Now
stupid.
I I honestly I don't mind that I got the deluxe edition. That much. I don't feel like upset. The only thing I think is kind of dumb is the Kazil Salim cars. You can't customize them at all. You can't change the paint. You can't do this or that. You can't even change the wheels. That if you could fully customize those cars that you get through it, I'd actually be happy with my purchase. Not even kidding to you. I would actually be like, you know what? This is worth it to me because I just thought the kits are interesting.
Yeah.
But now I don't use them because I can't customize them at all. And the liveries are nice, but what if you want to have your car look like something else and you just can't do it that way without getting the
Yeah.
non because you'll still need versions. But this outrage over the deluxe edition not giving you the car, it reminds me of the outrage over the deluxe edition in Payback when it didn't give you the Firebird and the DB5. Now those cars I think were also. Here's the thing: the pricing on those, it was like $4 or $5 for both of them together, which I think was extremely steep. But also $4 or $5 for them individually. So they did this weird scheme where you paid the same amount to get both of them or one of them. That doesn't make sense. Like it's like if you have that same amount of money, why not just get both of them? I don't know. Maybe
It's
EA made
literally
a little oopsie. I have no idea. Um,
it's buy one get one free essentially. The
yeah,
fuck? Why is that a thing?
yeah, that's
I didn't even know
weird.
that.
That's yeah. No, or I might be wrong.
I
I
checked
don't.
out of
I
it.
honestly, I don't.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I don't care anymore. But with that and like it would it have been cool if the deluxe edition of Payback came with those cars? Yes. Would it be cool if the deluxe edition of Heat came with the F1 and the challenges and the races? Yes, it would be cool. Yes, it would be consumer friendly. Yes, it'd be great. But that's just it never promised it. So why are you being upset about something that was never promised to you, right? So like to all these people, like I agree with you that it probably should be free considering how far behind Heat is in so many aspects. We're talking PvP, the barely any 400 plus races. You can't really like
How
use
does
your
still know
car all that
PvP?
much. Yeah, and then like all these like they did a
Well,
lot of
I
bug fixes, but that means there are a lot of bugs. There's still clipping issues. I would expect this to be free. And the reason why I think
yeah.
like the Legends update in Need for Speed 2015 was free was because they're not gonna charge money for that when they know people are upset that the game has problems, right? So it just wouldn't make
Yes.
sense. But lo and behold,
Legends up
there
there was
you,
a banger. That was literally just a separate fucking
yeah.
thing.
I would like it.
Oh, here's one glaring issue what I've noticed about. I'll even put it this way. Haven't bought the McLaren car. It's like $10 New Zealand. You can get fucked first of all. Like I'd rather just play.
$10.
I have mad indie games on like my to play list that are like
Yeah,
$10. Like
dude.
I'm
Like
no. But
yeah.
but talking about that right is Wyatt Wolf. Why the races just start at like 300? Because
Yeah,
didn't they assume like
I don't
level
get it.
30? It's
They
like bro,
don't.
like I literally bought the game, joined like I had to talk with like Cam and then like, oh, how are you like treating it? I'm like, oh, I'm level 50 and I've already done the story and I've had it for like 5 hours. Like
Yeah, and the
I
guru,
and to be fair,
the
me and
speedrunner did it
Rain,
in under two, beat the game in under 2 hours. That's
yeah,
broken.
I just did it as in like I just want to get this story out the way. I don't care. Let me unlock all these other races. And Rain too. Like me and him. Well, me and him were talking like to Cam and then another call. It was essentially the idea of like in that regard, the game was doomed for you two. Like you just grind the games like hours on it. I'm like, yeah, like fucking, oof. Like I have like 30 million just from like just trying to like top like speed lists.
Yeah,
Just repeat like retrying shit to top it. I have like 30 million just accidentally.
yeah, the game's economy is just not good. Like I remember 2015 had the perfect economy. cars felt like they were worth quite a bit. You could still make a decent amount of money doing races, and it's just everything's balanced. Like you do a race in 2015, you get 8 grand. That's You're not gonna do a street race in real life and get $74,000. You're not. You're not gonna. Unless you're part of
Bro,
some weird underground like millionaires
Nah,
club that I
not
don't know
even.
about.
No, not even fucking that. You're not a little fact. The lower tier F1 drivers like Alfa Romeo and all that make about 500,000 a year, and that's US.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, if you do how many races, like say like eight, no, not even 8 races, and think you're making the same amount as Kimi Raikkonen. Like, no, the economy is fucked in that regard.
and then you pay hundreds
It's
of
not even that
thousands of
expensive
dollars.
stuff
Like,
car.
okay, being that it's so
Because
easy
I
to.
get they would probably crank up the money, so it's like, oh, so you can buy their gear. Or honestly, you should probably have to grind for that.
Yeah, maybe. And then also, here's the
And
thing.
people be like, oh, there's a grind. I'm like, this is nothing. I accidentally have. Like, even on fucking Need for Speed 2015, I had like 6 million just
Yeah,
from
I
like
had a
grinding
couple. I had
races.
a couple million on my PS4 save, and then on PC I was always a little short on cash because I'd constantly be buying cars or whatever. But on PS4 I have a few million just sitting there, and it's just because
The most I
it's
think I had in 2015, I think I had 20 million. It was
20.
when me and
Okay, jeez.
I was like Rat. I can't remember his name, but Vermin Sermon Classic, if you're listening, me and that guy, we're the reason why the Hurricane exists. We're sorry, you can decapitate me after this episode. Because what we did was we took the car list of Need for Speed 2015 and we halved it and says we'll buy all these cars and test different tunes on all of them. And I remember he's like, try the Hurricane, try drift it. And I did. I'm like, why is it driving in a straight line but sideways? And then we just made it worse and worse and worse. And it got to the point where maybe someone, maybe not, if people remember this, there was they had a subreddit torn one needs to be 2015. I think there's like still a thread if it's somewhere.
Mm.
Oh, actually, no, the thread's gone. Fucking, I remember I tried looking for it. Even like Ben was like involved in the, but fucking me and him were getting these drift goals to the point where the mods and shit were like, if you don't like, I literally made a rule where we had to like, take a photo or screenshot of the time, say what car we're using and that, because they were like, what are these scores you are getting? They're like, what car are you using? Like, if not, we will have to remove you.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then people started using it. It's like, oh shit, I see why this thing's broken. And how the virus spread was, I told Cam, and that was that time where Cam told Theo, and then they both did a video on it, and then it just became an infection. That's the real coronavirus, Hurricane virus.
Lamborghini Hurricane virus. Yeah. Back to what we were talking about, the economy being broken and heat. Engines are really expensive, and it makes sense. It's okay for an engine to be 600K if a race gives you 70K, right? I'm okay with that because it doesn't take that long. But the car that comes from it, or that has that engine, costs maybe 80 or 90,000 depending on what car. That doesn't make sense. Why does an engine from a car cost sometimes way more than the actual car itself? It's just weird. It's just broken. And I remember, talking about having money in 2015. I remember this is after the hot rod update, like right after, and I thought there would be more updates and whatever. And so I started to kind of save money because I was thinking, oh, they're probably gonna have an update where you can buy a garage or buy more garages for more spaces because people wanted some more. I think at that point they had updated it so you can get 10. And they never updated it, which is whatever, that's fine. I had a few million over, and then we moved to Payback. Payback says, okay, you can buy garages, and then once you buy all of them, you'll have, infinite car spaces. So, I had saved up a few million in Need for Speed 2015 for garages. Payback comes along, you get a lot more money per race. A lot. A significantly larger amount of money. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm assuming that garages are going to cost maybe like $1 million, several hundreds of thousands of dollars because it doesn't take that long to get that money. Garages cost like 30 grand in payback. Like,
I don't.
I'm
Oh
noticing
yeah, that
over
was.
time with all of these little things, after 2015, it's like, so, I don't know who is responsible, but it's like the brains just started to shut off one by one. Just one by one, just
Drooling out their
slowly.
fucking ears.
Yeah, they're just
Dribbling.
drooling over the keyboard. And, you know, I'm
Ugh.
sorry if that's like rude or whatever. I don't care. At this
Also,
point.
fuck you.
Yeah.
No, but to be
No
completely like
disrespect to any
actually
developers,
like
because
a
here's the
human
thing.
and have a conversation, like what was actually happening? Were they like drooling on frostbite or something? What was happening?
I don't even
Or
know.
that's not
And
even that. That's literally an economy problem, and
yeah,
as you said, like after 2015, it's like it was noticeable. Because
yeah.
actually, no, I do remember that because I have a thingy about Payback. I remember seeing the reveal trailer and it launched. And I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah,
And
it's something's wrong.
I don't know. This is something's up. And essentially, I didn't play it until like 4 months ago, and I got it obviously 100% off. If you get me.
5-figure discount.
It was like like it was like, and this is a person who had zero expectations. So I can't even imagine if you're excited for this game. I can't
Oh
even
yeah,
imagine.
no. Half of
But
the
like,
Payback's a fairly bad game. It's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. I feel like people are too
they got
emotionally.
burned.
They're emotionally charged because they got burned. They were expecting something
Yeah, they
great
got
after
bitch
2015.
slapped.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like Cam now. How you've noticed in his videos that like it's just like what's happening with Need for Speed.
Yeah, yeah, and you know that's kind of happening to everyone.
And
And
actually, I thought about it. Like I was talking with him and Jay about with Need for Speed. It was the whole thing about like, oh, what is Need for Speed, blah blah, and that's what the fuck it wants to be. It's never been anything solid ever.
yeah, and
It's like
after
COD.
this, yeah, after this
Like
supposed reboot, alleged reboot in 2015, the next game barely follows that, only with customization. And now our first DLC is a McLaren F1. Nothing screams underground car culture like a McLaren F1. Let me tell you, like
to be
people
fair,
have been wanting.
that
No, and here's why I
actually,
think the DLC is
oh yeah, you
stupid.
go.
I love the McLaren F1. I think it's amazing. But you want to know why I think it's a stupid idea for a DLC car? Is when people have been requesting cars like the S14, the Eclipse, the RX-8 for years. Games after games, they've been requesting them. And honestly, it would still be kind of bad to release them as paid behind a paywall. Because, you know, people have been asking. So hopefully you put them in the next game for free, whatever. And instead they release a McLaren F1. But back to whatever you were saying.
Actually, I'm talking about the S14, and not just that with the S13. Remember, the 180 was on the same chassis as this S13, so you could just put the different tail lights and panels in. Honestly,
There you go.
And with the S14, it's not even that different. Like from the foundation of the actual chassis for the car to the S13, so you could just take the 13's model, modify the chassis, and just put new panels on it. Oh, actually, would not be that bad to make the rest of the S chassis cars. But
Yeah.
with what I was talking about with the F1 is that here's the thing with but the thing is, I don't think any of these kids realize they just want something in Japan because Japan.
Yeah, it's also that. I honestly, I don't care that much about the S14. I like the RX-8, whatever. The fact is, people, when you're making, oh my gosh, when you're making a product and people want something and you have an opportunity to give them that and then you don't, that's the problem here. I don't care what if people if people were requesting like some like I don't know some old like Ford truck or something, but everyone was doing that and they don't do that, that's a problem.
The special thing about Japan's car cultures, though, which is why it would be good, they don't care. Like. An F1 would fit because they have hypercar car meets over in there that have like custom body kits like was it Anija? I think that's the group that does it. There's a McLaren F1 LM with this like fucking huge ass like custom body kit on top of it, or like the F50s and shit. It's like even then, but that's like the one time, but like it's like not completely out of range. And it is underground because like. No one, unless you're part of that, you don't know where it's happening, you don't get an invite, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it's essentially like, it's not out of the realm. But when people say Japan, like, they go so baseline where it's like that could be set anywhere and it's no different.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like,
And
oh, cool, drift cars. It's like that could be anywhere.
yeah, that's true.
Togekiss, that's anywhere. Bro, you just
I will, I will, I
anywhere.
will say this. Back to like developers. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know, it's probably not people just drilling on their keyboard. It's probably the executives at the board meetings. You know, they don't know what they're doing. Maybe again, so this is just my ideas. I think it's someone at the top who's like, okay, we're gonna have it like this, and then maybe the developers are like, but I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think it should be like this. Like, no, you will do it this way, or you will not. You will get fired. And then they're like, but I have to feed my kids, so I'll code this terrible thing.
That, but remember what they let Respawn do with Star Wars. That's not what EA wanted. EA didn't want to release Fallen Jedi, but then they did, and fuck, it was a success. This is what people wanted.
Maybe
they're slightly becoming a bit more lenient because they realize that they can get burned.
Yeah,
like they still get money, but like
they gotta do that. And then also, you know, with the new Star Wars thing, and then what's it called? Releasing and it's not in Frostbite, whatever. It's doing well, I think. I haven't followed it. I hope that means that the future of Need for Speed is in a slightly better place. Maybe, hopefully. Here's the thing. That's what we were thinking in 2015. We're like, oh man, it's underground again. It's you know, the game's broken and buggy, but they know what to fix for the next time. And there's all this free content. Like, man, EA is doing well for the first time since the mid 2000s.
Thank EA for allowing them to do this. Honestly, that was my thought process.
Yeah, and then look at what happened. You know, it's
hard.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting, but whatever. I really don't. And another thing is, about this DLC, I'm not that annoyed by it. I could definitely be more annoyed by it because I don't have any expectations at this point. So for free challenges in the DB11 and like new exclusive races, okay, you know, I'll do them. Honestly, I've been doing some of them for the DB11, and yeah, it's basically a recycled car. They just took an old model. Okay, I don't know the development process, but hey, maybe it would have been cool if you picked something that A, people actually wanted, or B, something actually original instead of just you know, a convertible version of an already existing car. But whatever, it's free, cool, and from someone who has no expectations, I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time with it. I would be having a better time if the races were 400 plus. And I wanted to go back to you talking about like how some of these races start in like the 300s. I guess for the F1 maybe it does, and then for the DB11 they start like
start the 300. I remember I was talking to Cam about that. He's like, "Why the fuck is this a thing? We're in a McLaren F1, and why are you putting it 300?"
Yeah, and the DB11 one started like 200 something. Around 200.
To be fair, I know it's not like obviously it's not realistic. And actually, my thing is when it came to these speeders, like what was it about? It was something about like it's like that's not like this, it's like that. And my answer was like it's fucking Need for Speed. Yeah. It's like it's not. But my thing is I do think it's funny that with the McLaren stock engine that the Polestar in there is quicker than it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that is kind of funny. And also, why does this sound weird? I'm not usually one for complaining, but Need for Speed is actually one of the games that I have expectations for the sound department, and also for paid premium content. The DB11 sounds pretty good, I think. I don't actually know what a Volante sounds like in real life, so whatever.
I've heard a couple F1s before.
The F1 in this game kind of sounds like their Aventador sound, but they modified the RPM range or something like that. I don't even know if that's a good comparison. It just doesn't. I don't know. From someone from someone who's never actually heard a McLaren F1, I think it sounds weird. I haven't heard one in real life, but judging off of what I think it's supposed to sound like, it sounds pretty weird.
My one is like, it's not so much weird, as in it's like you didn't go the complete way of how this sounds. Because I have heard a couple, and it's like fuck. It's like it's kind of like you like drew like the outline of a drawing, but didn't fill in the shadows. It's like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, honestly, it
It's how
sounds
it kind
like
of feels.
a Forza sound, and that's not even to like be
Dude,
insulting because yeah, I know
hell no.
Forza's sounds haven't been great, but apparently, and I don't know if this is true, but I think the reason why they can't use like their old sounds from Horizon 2 and Horizon 1. Well, I heard from one random person that something about the new Forza tech engine is a problem with that is that importing sounds will in the
I was gonna
same
say that's
way
not
breaks the game
beautiful.
or like crashes, so they have to have like a new way to like make sounds and whatever. I don't know if that's real. No, I heard it from another person that well, polyphony, you know, digital with Gran Turismo and how
Yeah.
awful those sounds used to be,
Ah,
and now they're pretty good.
ah.
Apparently, the Forza guy, sound guy, left and then went to polyphony, and that's why GT Sport sounds pretty good. I
That's a meme. If that happened, that'd be hilarious. I bet you could look that up. Like,
yeah.
sounding the parts.
I'm actually
Welcome,
pretty sure
Funny
that
family.
that's the case that the Forza sound guy left for Gran Turismo. In any
That's
case,
hilarious.
I think
Just
what
bet Brandon my 7 win.
yeah.
Please, bro. Please. I'll buy a fucking console for that. Please, bro. Please.
What was I talking about? Yeah, so like with Forza sounds, I think that another reason, what I heard was that well they can't use the stuff from the old sounds because apparently the sound guy can copyright his own sounds.
Oh
So
shit.
that means like oh well actually I own the rights to the 2014 BMW M4 sound in Forza Horizon 2. I made that. You know, you put that under your portfolio, get a job at Polyphony Digital. You know what I'm saying? So like,
That actually that would be pretty handy to have on your CV. Look at my sounds.
yeah, compared to Gran Turismo sounds, I mean, like, come on.
Oh god, Gran
But
Turismo 4.
oh my
Woo!
gosh, yeah, it's a real
Oh
Dyson
my god,
simulator right there.
what about the trees?
Oh, whew.
They
Hey,
were still the same.
to be fair, if we're talking about looks, the GT4 was like one of the few games that ran in 1080i on the PS2, which is insane to me. But in any case, honestly, if Forza sounds, they're kind of bad, but it's forgivable. For me, that doesn't really make like a big gameplay change. It really doesn't
Um,
affect the gameplay that much. Midnight Club Los Angeles, I love that game to death, but its sounds are horrible.
oh,
I think
dog
they're
shit.
trash, complete
Fucking
crap.
awful.
I
Yeah, they're
hate them.
awful.
I hate them
I
so
love
much.
that game, but it's
But you
so
know
bad.
what?
So
I
sad.
don't care because the rest of the game is amazing. So I
Hell
usually
yeah.
don't pay attention to that much. But yeah,
No,
no,
that's
when you
my thing.
actually think about
I
it,
don't even
yeah,
get it.
MCLA's sounds are really terrible. Really, really terrible. But hey, the
You know
rest
what
of the
my
game's
logic
great.
is that with
Yeah.
those games is that like if the first thing I have to retract to like for my first thought is oh the sound's bad, your game might be fucking.
Yeah,
Because
cause
usually I'm just having too much. I'm usually enjoying it too much to care.
yeah, that's the thing. There has to be more like actual gameplay stuff going on. You know, like Need for Speed Underground 1, I actually thought the sounds in that were pretty bad. In Underground 1. In 2, I think they made a significant like upgrade pretty much. Like an RX-7 sounds like an R close sounds like has a rotary engine. You know, and in Underground 1 it almost sounded like it had like a straight 6 or something weird. You know, kind of like some weird synthesized fake sounding thing. Maybe I'm just going off the rails, but if you remember what Underground 1's cars sound like, then yeah,
Oh yeah.
like look them up. Like I don't think I'm like crazy
Oh,
here. I actually
well,
don't
I
yeah
can
like.
I can imagine the sounds right now. I can
Yeah,
imagine them
yeah, and
in my brain.
the fact that the F1 doesn't sound that great in Heat, it's not the end of the world, but it's pretty bad
No.
because Need for Speed is known
Need for
for
Speed has
having good
bangers of sounds.
sounds,
Yeah.
and then B it's paid content,
But
so I'd expect them
I
to
always
pay a little more attention to it, you know?
actually I'll shed some light because all these cunts want the Too Fast Too Furious sound. Like one, first of all, that's a highly modified sound of an RB25, not even a 26, right?
Yeah.
That's actually cammed. Let me give you boys the 411 on some straights. RB26 with a Kakimoto full exhaust system and 262 cams. that is very close to the sound of the actual skyline that they used in the movie, or the sounds that they made for the movie. Very, very close. Like a cammed engine. It's not normal. That engine. It's always funny because I remember talking to Zoan where it's like it's not the real skyline sounds. Like I'm like, have you seen one? I was like, oh no, I heard it, and then I took a photo because I was at my cousin's and there's 4 of them in the driveway. Like I know what they sound like, mate. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like they're there. I literally took a selfie as well. I was like, base
Yep.
real plus. Yeah, this is what the driveway outside where I'm at is currently looking like.
Yeah. So and like with Forza when they had the Lexus LFA, and it sounds pretty good.
Actually,
Honestly,
I
sounds
just thought
pretty
of something.
good in Horizon 4. Yeah,
You know
go
how
ahead.
Need for Speed isn't the most like realistic in any way.
Yes.
Surely they record like the actual sound from the exhaust and then just modify it to like sound better than it actually is. Fuck it.
Yeah, I think they normally do that. They
Some of
probably
them they
like
didn't, and I can tell, but it's also
yeah.
like, yeah, but it's also like that's how the car actually sounds. So
Mm.
fair
Yeah,
enough.
I also feel like sometimes they exaggerate sounds a bit just to,
Yeah,
make it more
they
appealing. It's a
exaggerate the
game.
turbo sounds a lot.
I
The turbo,
yeah,
the BOVs are fucking exaggerated.
I don't care if it's exaggerated. It's a game.
Me
Cool,
either, yeah.
whatever. It's
Fair
not
enough.
real life. It's not realistic. That's okay. You're not expecting
Yeah.
realism when you play Need for Speed anyways. Um,
I don't want
but
realism. Imagine
yeah, but
getting stuck in traffic. Yeah,
yeah, I was looking at I was with Forza and its Lexus LFA, and that actually has a pretty good sound. And
that's always
I wish they'd put a little bit more effort into the rest of their sounds, but they have hundreds of cars, so it's forgivable
yeah,
with
that's
Forza.
fair fucking enough. Honestly, if anything, I wouldn't be mad if they had like bass sounds for these engines and then just modify them so they sounded a bit more like this car,
Yeah, yeah,
which is kind
it's
of they're like so many fucking cars to deal with.
yeah, it is a little annoying when you have a lot of cars that sound the same in Forza, but I mean, Forza's more about the driving experience, so and also sounds are not a huge deal. I would only say that sound is pretty bad here with Need for Speed Heat just because it's paid DLC. You're paying extra. Like that premium should probably go a little bit into the budget required to go out, find someone with an F1, record some sounds. You know what I'm
Well, they
saying?
only fine. They probably have someone on
They
speed dial.
they yeah they the
Well,
EA
one of
and
the
Speed
executives probably
Hunters
owns
and
ones.
yeah probably yeah, and they're
Your
probably
executive
like
owns one.
in their vaults of like you listen to the Hot Pursuit 2010s F1 and the
Oh, those were
Rivals,
that.
even
I
Rivals
will give them
F1.
that. That is an That I'll give them that. Those are exaggerated F1s, but still, like, it's who cares? It sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah, like they
Like,
could
does it
have.
sound good?
They probably had
Yes,
that
give me that.
in like a hard drive. They gotta have it somewhere. But hey, whatever.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna get the DLC, but hey, it's not horrible. Okay, I don't think it's that bad. The paid, yeah, the challenges aren't that fun or great from what I've seen in the races. They start at like 300, despite
What's even
and
funny
it
is
should be
they
end game
start at
content, but
300, and the F1 is looking to be from what I've
320
seen like
something.
one of the best cars in the game now.
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know how to think about that. I don't care because the RSR is still OP and it shouldn't be. But would it be a problem if like one
And
car was OP and you had to
it's
pay real money?
RSR tier.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
what
pretty
I've seen, it's
close.
ridiculous. What it says is it doesn't accelerate as quick as the RSR, but it handles better.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It would be
That's the regard I got
much
from it.
much worse if it was better, or at least better in a
That'd be
significant way.
mean.
That would be like, would I be
So it'd be
surprised?
like the
No.
RSR is no longer OP, but fuck, we have a new one, don't we?
Yeah, no, not even that.
Where's
There's
the
a new
F1
one.
killer?
There's a new one, and you need to pay $5 for it.
Oh,
you know,
me.
that's what
Oh,
I'm
that's
saying.
bad.
That would be the
That's
real
really bad.
problem.
At least the
Yeah.
RSR is free.
At least the RSR is free. Yeah, there you go. Um, yeah. So the DLC, I'm definitely not gonna get it. At least for now, probably not. The DB11 stuff is cool. It's fine. For having zero expectations, it's all right. I'm having a good time with it. So there you go.
I haven't
That's
even done that.
yeah.
I might have to play with
Honestly,
someone. I don't
it's not like it's not a major reason to get even like booted up again.
know.
You're
I
not
haven't
missing
booted
out.
up the
Yeah,
game since last
yeah,
year.
yeah. You're not missing out
So,
on a lot
so
if you don't
I
like
might just
play.
do it. Fuck it.
But hey, I'm still having a good time with it. I
Well,
just wish they
what about
made
the
like
people who
better
are like, I just,
decisions.
what about the people who are like, I just bought it just because I really wanted something to play on it? I'm like, oh, bro,
Yeah,
love
that's
yourself, please, self-care.
yeah.
And it sounds like
Um,
they've just given up. Please,
yeah,
let me
yeah. Like,
play.
yeah, I wouldn't get buying it just so you can like be able to play the game more. No, you should want to
Sounds
play the
like
game
any
and
other
then
game.
buy it, not buy it so
Yeah.
that now you have to.
You want to buy
That's
it
weird.
because you want to have a better experience at the game you're already having fun with. It's like, it's gonna make it more fun.
Yeah, there you
Not,
go.
I guess I should just get it.
Yeah, no,
That's
no,
fucking
no.
sad.
Dude, can I say, if we're talking about DLC real quick, I thought what Burnout did with Big Surf Island, people have talked about how great the DLC is, but you want to know what I think is amazing? The marketing in terms of gameplay, when you have the bridge just right there, so tantalizing, you're like, oh, I want to see what's over there. And then like there were a couple times I tried to drive at it and jump from it at different angles from like a parking lot or
Ah,
something. Like try to get in, but like nah, it would always kick you out and whatever. But and then I just remember the one day I bought it and was so confused. There were like jumps everywhere, like on the bridge on the way to the island. I haven't even got to the island, and then I see a huge ski jump. That's what DLC should feel like. You're like, whoa, what's going on? Like this is crazy. Now DLC is, uh, it's five
boring dog
dollars.
shit.
It's a cool card, some challenges, some races, or like Forza. The what's it called? I don't even remember. Fortune Island, something like that. It was the drift
What
road,
island?
the big drift road in Horizon 4, the first expansion DLC.
Uh,
It was pretty
I
cool.
just remember Storm Island or the fuck
Storm,
that
yeah,
shit
that
was.
was Horizon 2. Yeah,
That's
it
hidden behind the paywall.
yeah,
Me.
yeah, and like for Horizon 4's DLC, it's okay. It's not that bad, but it does not like I don't get the same feeling as like I still remember how I felt when I bought Big Surf Island. I was just blown away. It's mind blown because I haven't seen any footage of it at that point. I was pretty young.
Oh,
I didn't
I
like see
remember was it
anything on the
Camp at the
internet.
Midnight Club versus Burnout. That's so fucking hard for me.
Yeah, I on impulse selected Midnight Club, and I said on Twitter that I think I'd probably pick Burnout, but now I don't really know. It's really
Yeah,
really difficult because
I didn't pick any. I'm still thinking.
yeah, they're too different. They're way too different to pick across them. But I think like Need for Speed Underground, Underground 2, Most Wanted Carbon are great, but Midnight Club is a different animal. Um, both
Yeah.
are great and can coexist with each other, but I think that I enjoy Midnight Club more as a street racing experience. Like it feels more like
Yeah,
street
no.
racing to me.
No, if we put it all together, Midnight Club is superior. I don't think, and I've
Yeah,
even said this, like the menu theme for Midnight Club 2, we've never had a feeling like that from like just the menu
yeah.
music. That was
Yeah,
like,
dude,
oh, we're doing some
and
fuck shit.
I played Midnight Club 2 way late, like 20 again, probably like 2018 or something like
Well,
that. And
Midnight
it
Club
still
was
was like a
like how
whoa
those street
feeling is
racing syndicates. That is what the league wishes it was.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And here's the thing with Midnight Club LA, you flash your headlights to start a race. You get
Yeah,
people that
that's
trash talk you
those details are cool.
when you scrape by them, like
I
they'll
love those
trash
little
talk you.
details.
Yeah, and then there's traffic everywhere, right? But here
Oh hell yeah,
and here's the
Weaving
thing.
City.
What they did was they made that part of the gameplay. Like now you gotta weave through in and out. And Need for Speed is more about kind of going fast at like sheer speed, but Midnight
Yeah.
Club is kind of like some of the
Yeah, no, it's a better
strategies.
street racing game, 100%. Like, I don't care who says what. Well, then again, the people who say, "Oh no, it's not," it's like, bro, you walk to school, and if you know, you know. It's like, to be fair, that was the fun part of like weaving between the cars,
Yeah, and here's the
because it
thing.
required skill. Because
And
that's the thing. Like they always say, like, "Oh, too many cars," and what I say to that is, stop being shit and get good. Literally, just get good.
yeah, but well, what I think is great about it is like one time, to win like a certain championship or whatever, I actually had the strategy of, I think I'm gonna actually kind of chill a little, not like not spam the nos, kind of take it
Mm,
not slow, but at just kind of just pace it, and then to make sure I can
not
avoid
fair.
traffic, and I actually have to think about that, and that's kind of
No,
more of
and that
what
was
street
one cool
racing
thing
is,
about
you
Minute
know?
Club. One ability. Um, and here's the thing. Like, actually, no, of me, that is one thing. I bet you if Need for Speed did do an expressway type thing on, like, say Tokyo Nights or whatever the fuck that
Mm-hmm.
people want to call it. I bet you that shit would be better.
Yeah, probably would
Because
be.
like that, because like if you've ever played some other shit like Shooter Call or fuck what's called Tokyo Stream Racer, like
Mm-hmm.
or like you have to like plan ahead like how you're going to move in between these traffic cars, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how it is on Midnight Club to a degree, especially when it's packed.
Yeah.
Actually, great example, Midnight Club LA. When you're on the fucking motorway, you have to plan where you're going
Ooh.
to go so you don't hit the cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool as hell to me. That'll just always be great.
Yeah. But you see, here's the thing. Like, going back when I replayed Most Wanted, '05 somewhat recently, and it was a great like experience as a game. But it didn't feel like I was street racing that much. Like the cops and everything is great, and it does feel illegal, but like when I'm actually racing, it really does feel like I'm just racing up against AI. With Midnight Club, it feels like you're racing against other people in cars.
I feel like you're
Feels
racing
like
against the
I'm
fucking
racing.
traffic to some points. You're
Yeah.
racing the traffic somehow. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
get out of my way.
Street racing is not like in Most Wanted. You street race almost like you're on a track. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's so few,
100%.
there's so little traffic, and
And not
it's
even that,
all
where they
about like,
put the barriers up, so it's like you go this way. It's like, bro, that's
yeah,
like a street circuit. That's a
yeah.
street circuit.
Now,
You should be able to like go the wrong way. That would be
yeah, you
cool. Like,
should.
oh fuck, I'm supposed to go the other way.
And although I have a weird preference, I prefer the barriers just because when I was like, well, I guess I used to prefer the barriers now that I think about it, because when I played Midnight Club when I was younger and I was just really bad at it, kept on like missing like checkpoints and stuff like that. That's on me,
Hmm.
But like, yeah, in
Yeah.
real life, you're not gonna have like this invisible physical barrier there.
And because
While
here's
I
the
wouldn't
thing,
mind it,
with a game like Need for Speed or Midnight Club, especially Need for Speed, one thing like fuck the car sounds, how the car drive, that doesn't need to be realistic. What needs to be realistic is the experience of you on public roads racing. There's going to
yes.
be traffic. There's going to be problems. You're going to have issues.
Yeah.
You're going to have
Although
to deal with.
honestly, I think that messes with the design philosophy a little bit
Oh,
because
yeah,
it's
no, it
Need for
does. But then,
Speed.
yeah,
Like one thing we can all kind of like agree. You see, like Midnight Club ever since was a this is street racing, underground street racing, whatever. Need for Speed. It's been
truly
through a lot
underground.
of different like phases, and it used to be about
To be
high
fair,
speed
we could.
super, but it's
I could.
Need for
And
Speed.
actually, as a design
It has speed
student,
in the
I
name.
could
It's
say for Need for Speed.
like it's gotta be fast paced and whatever, and for that
No,
I
that's the thing. It has to
understand.
be. Yeah. If
Like,
anything, wouldn't it be more fast paced trying to dodge traffic?
probably. I mean, I mean more like a
More hectic, at least.
like more as you're
Yeah, I
driving
know.
faster. Like it would not be a. I don't think it would make sense for a strategy to kind of
Actually,
slow down to
what's
avoid
actually
traffic.
funny
Yeah,
about
go
that?
ahead. Go
With
ahead.
F1, how there's a lot of problems with following and all that. Literally, all the drivers say, "I would be willing to drive a slower car if it meant for better racing."
Okay. Yeah.
Like
So
if the racing was better, like and that's the thing. I don't care about going insanely quick in a racing game if it meant that the actual racing experience was a lot higher
was
quality.
better. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be down.
I don't even know how we got into this topic of Midnight Club, but man,
We were doing that.
I
No, it's the
think.
Midnight Club Need for Speed comparison that
Oh
Cameron did on
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
Twitter.
And then also when we're the thing about burnout, like if you'd pick either Burnout or Midnight Club. But yeah, honestly, I think I initially picked Midnight Club and then thought about it and said that I would pick Burnout. But now
Let me
thinking
put
about
this
it,
way.
I'm gonna pick Midnight Club. I'm gonna pick Midnight Club
Yeah.
because without it, we would not have like a true, in my opinion, definitive
Street
example of what a
Street racing.
street racing game should be.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like Need for Speed,
Because
and I don't care if
to
I
be
get
fair,
flack
Need
for
for
it.
Speed. And no, I actually don't. Actually, please flame me. My Twitter's in the
Oh,
thing. I
okay, all
dare
right.
you.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Let me explain with Need for Speed. Need for Speed is a design philosophy as a core game, just a single game. It would receive a failing mark, and I'm a design student as well,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's nothing solid.
yeah.
We
That's
go
true.
from supercars to cops and races to underground to track rate. What the fuck is happening? We went everywhere. We might as well
Yeah,
do the other shit you haven't done. Well, technically, if you want to count V Rally, they did Rally.
yeah. Honestly, from its inception, Need for Speed has just kind of been the EA racing game.
And no, do you know how
That's
I've actually
about it.
described it? I described it
And
to Tam. COD. COD.
yeah,
It's
it
the
kind
same.
of is like that. And yeah, Black Box made some amazing games, but they kind
It's
of
a
churn them
phase.
out every year under crunch and everything. And
Oh, crunch is
given
vicious.
given more
Fuck
time, I
no, no
think
one should have to do that.
yeah, given more
Yeah.
time, I think Black Box could have made some like Midnight Club tier games.
No, no,
But
no.
it's
Imagine.
just go ahead.
Oh, actually, no, I can't say that. No, but
Oh, what are
let's
you gonna
put
say?
it
What are
straight
you gonna
down.
say?
No. It's literally like a can't say that NDA type thing.
Hey,
No,
it's
no.
the Vermin
But
Sermon. Go for it. Go for it.
imagine with Carbon, right?
Yeah.
Where like obviously like a lot of that you could tell was like, well, like you feel like you rushed through the game, just like this development cycle was rushed.
Yeah. I mean, it
Oh yeah,
really
and a little
was.
fun fact about Most Wanted is they had 2 years.
Yeah, because didn't they start working on it early
Yeah,
with half
run
of them working
underground
on
too.
some stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that happens. But it's splitting up the dev team and half of them work on this, half of them work on that, or whatever it is. Obviously,
that's probably why the crunch was real
it's
crunch.
yeah, it's not like Midnight Club where they released it, like not year after year. They had a little bit more time, some more planning and stuff, and obviously it went to fruition. The games are amazing, but
Yeah, I'd honestly like I'd take even more development time if needed. Fuck it, if you give me
yeah,
that.
yeah, and obviously development time isn't the answer to everything because
Nah.
Payback was made in 2 years instead of one. Just
Oof.
saying. And again, I heard a theory that
Wonder how that
what happened was they actually had this is a theory, it's a conspiracy theory alert, that they had 1 year to actually make it, but EA didn't want to fund them for the other year, so they're like, okay, we're gonna release it every other year because it's not making that much money, but we don't want to invest that much money into Need for Speed, so we're gonna give you 1 year to make the game. It's gonna come out every 2 years just so that we can whatever. I don't know if I believe that or not. I don't care. Payback could have been a better game with a lot of different decisions and stuff going on, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, that's true.
Man,
We got something.
this one's been all over the place right now. This episode, but hey, that's how we do it.
The studio
now-
is dead.
Now, I guess we can mention it pretty briefly here. I don't care if we spend more time, but next gen consoles are having multiple models and stuff as an approach, and I want to know your opinion on it, on if you think it's a good thing or a bad thing. So what I'm talking about, you'll have a cheaper $300 to $400 model and then a more expensive $500 whatever, something like that, like there's an Xbox, there's going to be the Series X, and then there's the Series S, which will be cheaper. There's apparently going to be a PS5 Pro at launch, and I want to hear what you think about it.
Great examples because I have one and own man. It just sounds like with gaming laptops how there's like better specs with like a single. It just sounds like that
Yeah.
and then you look at like what the Xbox how it looks like. That just looks like a desktop. It literally just looks like personal consoles,
yeah.
PC,
Just looks like a
personal
tower, dude.
consoles. Honestly,
Yeah. In my opinion, I actually think it's horrible. I actually really think it sucks, and here's why. Games sell a lot more on console than they do on PC. And that influence means that games are often limited by consoles restrictions.
They should
And
just
people are
have
like,
the
oh,
features.
it's so powerful. What do you mean limited? What I mean is, right, you have a base system. You're not going to develop a game that's going to require a much more powerful CPU than what the majority of people are going to be playing on it, right? So when you
Oh,
introduce these,
actually, wait.
like when you
I just
introduce,
realized something.
yeah, go ahead.
It's to your point, though.
Yeah,
Here's the thing: they're going to develop a game, for like the weakest console.
yeah,
But here's the thing: we're either going to have it like not have a bigger improvement on the better model of the console, or it's going to run like shit on the fucking worst console and good on
yeah,
the best top model, and then the people who bought the weaker console are going to feel burned in a way.
yeah. It's not
It's
really
like a
that
lose
good.
lose
It's
situation.
kind of bad for everyone. And here's the
That
thing.
is the fucking yikes.
Uh, I don't care about graphical changes. But like
Yeah,
if the low end console has the same CPU, maybe the same RAM, but the graphics card is way worse. Okay, have you know what? I don't care if it 2020 have it be at run at 1080p and like weaker graphics card and like maybe a lower frame at 30 frames a second, whatever, right? You have a cheaper system, but the CPU and RAM and all the stuff that or whatever the stuff that actually matters more means that games will not have to change fundamentally to accommodate for the weaker consoles. And now,
mm-hmm.
so we're gonna have 7+ years, 6 to 7 years of halted development, kind of, a little bit, sort of. If that makes any
I'll say
sense.
stunted if anything.
Yeah,
Definitely
stunted.
stunted.
That's the word. It's
Stunted growth.
like I just wish more people understood this. I've heard some people saying, instead of like even making new consoles, they should just keep updating the PS4 and Xbox One, so that there's a newer Pro model of the Xbox One, so you can play games on with better frame rates. But
The
like,
Xbox One
are you
Bro.
serious? So we're still gonna require people to develop games to run on a base PS4 and base Xbox One. That is
Yeah, that's the problem.
horrible.
You need to render like old shit obsolete.
Yeah, you
Like the
have to. You
coronavirus is doing
can't.
that with the human race. But
Even the human race is doing that. No,
fam,
but
later users. No, but
no,
honestly, on a
but
serious note, it's just like it's
it's gonna
essentially like
stunt development.
um, it's the whole idea of no man left behind, but the same way, fuck him. He's got like one leg. We need to
You
keep
have to,
moving.
yeah,
It's
and again,
progress,
you
fam.
can do this in a
The
smart way.
weakness.
Have the graphics card be significantly weaker and then cheaper and everything, but have the CPU be up to par, and then your
I'd just say
RAM and everything.
just have it so it can run better. The graphics
Yeah.
don't fucking matter.
Yeah, now like obviously if I'm playing a PC exclusive game, I'm not gonna care because they don't have that in mind. But
Yeah.
a lot of these big AAA titles are gonna be restricted quite a bit, and that's why I think when a console needs to come out, I think it's okay for it. I actually don't know anything about the business of it, so it's probably not probably not sustainable, and that's why they're probably not going to do it. But they should be pretty close to current high-end PCs when these consoles come out. Pretty close. I remember the PS3 and 360.
Hopefully.
Yeah, the PS3 and 360
At
were
this point,
quite powerful for their time. Like there were
oh
some
hell yeah.
serious
Easy
like
was.
the US Air Force, I think, has this thing called the Condor cluster where they just have a bunch of PlayStation 3s with Linux on them to compute stuff. I'm going to look it up to make sure I'm not just talking like nonsense right now. But
This
that is
sounds sick, though.
insane. Like if Condor cluster consists of 1,760 PlayStation 3s in the U.S. Department of Defense's fastest interactive computer. At least by the time it was made.
PlayStation.
That's crazy. I'm looking at this photo. It's just all these
hilarious.
PS3s. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Well, it works. It works. Fuck it.
Yeah. No, but like that's what I'm talking about. We should have
That is
stuff like
what
that.
I call genius
Yeah.
when you do something like that, and
Yeah.
that is genius
Yeah, that's
because
crazy.
it's like,
Make
holy shit.
use of the cell processors and all that stuff. But yeah, consoles should be pretty high end machines when they come out, so that in the future, because technology just gets so much, it gets better
and that's
so
right.
quickly, so quickly.
It's like a virus, honestly, how quickly it improves.
Yeah. Now we're slowly reaching the point where with each generation, graphics is not improving that much. So again, that it would not be a huge issue if the only thing being held back is graphics. And obviously, to a certain I would say to a certain extent you can't do that, but it's not like they're gonna make a game that or the console's so graphically impaired that the like games at the end of the generation like, oh, we can't run on the base system anymore, so we're gonna have to downgrade the whole game. I don't think it would get to that point graphically, like still have it be
Just
somewhat
go,
powerful,
Daisy,
but
fuck you cunts with the base models.
like the
Go
thing is
find out.
the thing is again with graphics, right? It's not
Yeah.
running. It can't do that well. Okay, scale down the resolution, lower the frame rate. Turn off like certain like get rid of certain shadows. Do this, do that. You don't have to fundamentally change the game. I don't care if you change how the
It's like
game
when you
looks.
it's like when you have a shit PC and you have to run things way lower than you'd want
Yeah,
to.
dude, on my
Just do that
lap.
with consoles.
Yeah. on my PC or my laptop, Burnout Paradise Remastered runs quite well considering other like games, that come around the same time. Like my laptop, whatever, can do 1080p max 60 pretty easily. Can't do heat at higher than 40 frames at lowest settings. Low preset, I should say. Low
Oh,
preset.
jeez.
It's 1080p. But he's kind of inconsistent. It just I don't know
Yeah,
what.
no, it is.
So
Also, the old when you play it for longer than like 3 hours and it just starts going
yeah, I noticed
starts
that
going
too.
down the fucking dumpster.
Yeah, like on my desktop PC, it actually runs quite decently. Actually, I think better than a lot of people who have worse PCs, and it's really unfortunate that it's just so inconsistent that it's like that. But like, okay, my desktop, 1080p max, Forza Horizon 4, like every setting maxed out around 70 to 80 frames a second, pretty good. On my laptop, 1080p 60 high preset, still good. That's what the hardware should be capable of. It can handle fairly solid 60, some minor drops here and there at the high preset, 1080p. Need for Speed Heat, low preset. I once set it to 720p and I still couldn't hit 60. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
That is a
Um,
drama. I've fucking
yeah,
never heard it. Holy shit.
yeah. But
Yes.
so back to what I was talking about with Burnout Paradise Remastered. My desktop PC, I can run it at 8K, 60. It's pretty funny. Using dynamic super resolution with NVIDIA and then also like changing some other stuff. I can run it at 8K. Well, actually, no. You modify the configuration files, so to like you can actually manually change the resolution. And so I did run it with no anti-aliasing and like honestly at 8K, like are you really gonna notice a difference? Especially considering my screen isn't even 8K, so I wouldn't really notice the jagged edges that much. I just did it to see if I could. But right, so
Yeah.
point being, Burnout Paradise Remastered runs really well. But back to my laptop and it. Anytime I'm using the laptop, it has really great battery life, but the GPU eats up the battery like so bad. So with Burnout Paradise Remastered, I can run it at a really, really low resolution. Like it's pretty ugly. I think I have it set to like, man, I'm gonna check it really quickly. But while I'm talking here, 512 by 288, 288p. Let's go. Yeah, at
Oh,
288p
that's
at lowest settings, it does not use my laptop's graphics card at all. Solid 60. Does not use my laptop's graphics card at all. And I'm at Windows power saving mode. So it'll last forever. Like it won't eat up battery. It's actually that optimized. It doesn't even use the GPU. That's mind boggling to me. It runs on integrated 60. So yeah, there you go. I don't know how we got to this discussion. Or actually, yeah, back to like, consoles being powerful so that games should not be stunted. But yeah, so I think if they're doing this, it's just a thing of consequences. I understand you want to make it user friendly for people who want to afford, game consoles at a cheaper price. And I'm not saying that you should do anything against them, but a couple things I want to mention. You can do this. I think the way you should do it, Sony, Microsoft, have your graphics stuff be less, but your CPU, your RAM, or other, not even so much RAM, but your other important stuff, keep that the same, right? So that our games don't have to be significantly taken back. And B, I understand if people are like, no, they should take everything back so we can afford, more people can afford a game console. It's a game console though. It's not like, you know what I'm
To be
saying? You
fair, from
don't
a business
need
standpoint, I get
a
why.
game console. Like, I'm sorry if this sounds rude. Uh, I don't care. It's a game. You don't need a game console to
I
live.
don't care.
I don't care.
Don't care.
Can't afford a game console? Well, can you afford food? Yes or no? That's what I care about. If you can afford food and shelter, water, education, and all that good stuff, okay, that stuff matters. I don't care if you can't afford a game console. Okay, I don't. And that's probably. I don't care if
Yeah,
someone
it
takes that
sounds
out of
weird, but I
context or
do
whatever.
understand what you mean. It's like some people like grasp onto it like as if it's like I need this to breathe and live. And it's
Yeah, no,
like
nope, no, you don't. It's a
yeah,
game console.
yeah,
Would I care if it was so expensive that I guess my friends and I couldn't afford it? I know it's still a game console. It's not a necessity.
yeah. To
You don't
be
need it to live.
fair,
Um,
but my thing to put it this way is that like yeah, it's in
like
that
don't
regard.
I think it's not a good idea to halt progression of the gaming industry for
You have to find a
7
balance. You
years
can't yeah,
to
you
have
can't
more
halt.
people.
Yeah. And to be fair, it is a business model. To be fair, it's
Yeah,
like
and
if all of a
honestly,
sudden PC started becoming the dominant console, imagine like what we'd see.
yeah, and also I want to say another
Or the
thing.
dominant gaming system.
The
I
truth
know
is,
PC. Oh, it's not a console. Oh, you should kill yourself. It's like, okay, bro.
yeah. I should mention.
If you say shit like that, you might need to wash your keyboard and then take a shower because you probably had one in like a week. Dirty cunts.
Yeah, yeah. While I'm saying that I don't care if you can't if you want a much cheaper console, like with the split of the Series X, Series S, one's cheaper. Like if you want one that has a low powered CPU and whatever. I also don't care because it's still like, yeah, you halt the gaming industry for 7 years, but it's the gaming industry. It's I don't care. Both sides, I don't care. Like now thinking about it, who cares? Like
Yeah.
you like a you don't need amazing hardware to make good games. You know, if Midnight Club 3 can run on like a 800 megahertz PS2 CPU or whatever the heck it is, then you don't need powerful hardware. And even if you did, I don't care. It's just games. Don't care at all. I'm starting to I'm talking about this with the new generation of consoles just because it's an up and coming topic, and I actually think it's interesting, or at least that they're splitting it up. But it doesn't really affect me personally. I'm not planning on buying a console. I don't want to spend that much money for a few games. And also, I should mention pretty briefly here, Nintendo. I don't think it matters so much if their stuff is somewhat underpowered, somewhat, not severely, but somewhat, and that's because if like suppose your third party game is not powerful enough to run on Nintendo stuff, the company is still going to make them for other systems. So that's okay. Whatever. Who cares? Suppose that if they can make it, then sure. But like Nintendo kind of just does its own thing. So I don't really mind if like the next Nintendo console is again really underpowered, because they can still make some pretty good games on it probably, and you know all that good stuff. And again, major companies aren't gonna stop developing or change development for everything just to limit it. So yeah, there you go. Anything you want to add real quick?
It's it is my thing is I will approach it from because it's the whole thing when people say yeah they have money they do, but it is a bottom line that they do have to meet regardless if they're making
Mm-hmm.
money or not, right? And I'm not even
Yeah.
talking like I'm not talking like bottom line as in like the actual like making sure that your liabilities aren't fucking outweighing everything. I'm just like bottom line as far as that.
Yeah.
Essentially, you need to find a fucking balance though. Like you can't keep just like halting progress because
Mm-hmm.
the fleshlings are too weak. You
Okay,
cull them out.
this is starting to sound really elitist. Like, no, that's not what this is about. But like,
Hell
Yeah, we'll keep
no.
going.
No, I'm just doing this as a meme, but let me just
Yeah.
say, you need to find
Also,
balance
by the way,
between
disclaimer: I don't actually.
catering to that audience and
Mm.
managing to progress forward. Because
Yeah.
that is the thing. See, graphics have not improved and all this. Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, and also to anyone,
Mm,
if you're mad at me because I said like I don't care if you can't afford it, if you can't afford a game console, whatever, I don't actually like mean it that hard. I don't really care, so it's whatever.
yeah, no,
You
that
you
was the
can be
thing.
mad at me. That's okay.
The way you said it, all of this, I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
damn, that sounds like personal.
I was trying to put it out there because the
Yeah,
Vermin Sermon. We are the Vermin Sermon
yeah, hell
after all.
yeah.
You
It is
gotta you
vermin. We're
take
not
it up to the
vermin now.
next level. Like again,
Hell yeah, it's like with my thing.
I don't actually care about Max, but it was just hilarious to flame the ever living crap out of him in that
And it's like my
episode.
whole thing is to cull the flesh things. I don't really give a shit about console,
Yeah,
PC. I don't give a
yeah,
fuck, bro. I play games. I don't care what it's on, really.
yeah. To any angry people, I'm sorry, but just you should just stop
To
wasting the
to
energy. Go watch something
any
else.
angry people, air your grievances at go fuck yourself at gmail.com.
Yes.
And once
Why
again, it's
don't
Vermin
you?
Sermon. I have to top it off, but seriously,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, don't take
damn.
don't take if you take anything we say
You
seriously,
say seriously, holy shit, I'm feel sorry for you, bro.
now I'm going to actually like be serious and like wow, you're
Yeah.
stupid.
I,
So,
Yeah, I
to
feel. Not even that. I do
let's
feel
go
sorry
for
for
it.
you. Let me put it that way. It's
Yeah.
pity. Like, don't take. Unless I say what I am saying is not a joke / serious, do not take me serious at all.
Yeah.
I just chat shit, really.
Yeah, okay. Let's end this rather aggressive episode before things get out of hand.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
jokingly aggressive,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
aggressive
yeah.
nonetheless.
Again, the point. I don't actually
Oh,
mean half of the things I say, but
fuck
yeah.
no.
No, I'm
I
tired.
honestly
I
should be able to really
had.
bring myself to
I've.
careful about this.
Yeah.
It's
No.
hard.
Honestly, to anyone who's been listening, I don't know how if you anyone stayed
But that's
this long.
long. Holy
Yeah. This is
Actually, no.
starting
Let me
to.
put it this way. Let me put it this way. After the aggressive podcast, if you're still listening this long through, I appreciate you a lot. Holy
Yeah.
shit,
Actually,
it's
yeah.
fucking hell.
That actually means you
Yeah, we
actually wanna.
appreciate you for real.
Actually
I
want
said that
to.
at the start about Oh, but to be fair, I didn't see the comment. Who he suggested talking about Undercover. Yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate
Yeah,
anyone
like
else who sticks
actually
through the
leaving a
whole week.
comment and actually wants us to talk about. Yeah, if and for everyone else, if you want us to talk about something, leave it down there.
Oh, yeah.
For
Who
sure.
lasted all 5 acts of the play, the Odyssey. That is Vermin Sermon. Yeah, shout out to you.
Yeah.
This,
All right. Yeah,
this is
man.
the curtain call.
I like. I especially feel for the people who've lasted this long because normally I'm a bit more kind of at it, but if we're talking real brief about IRL stuff, man, things are not looking too hot.
Wait, is
For
that still not bleeding, but is it still orange?
oh yeah, someone who didn't know,
That's
I
like
took a
pretty.
MotoGP. I took a Midnight Club LA bike turn. Like
You
hitting the
took the
nos.
nostalgia.
I took the nos at a sharp turn, and yeah, cut up my leg fairly weirdly. I would say not up that badly, like it's just like doesn't stop bleeding. And then I took some tests today. Probably failed at least one of them. And then
Oh.
right before that we started recording, I realized
Oh,
that I had an assignment. I didn't turn it in on time, and then my hard drive stopped working, and then I had to like restart my computer and go fix it. All of any of these things like are pretty insignificant if you actually think about it. But like all of it's
Dev's been
building up
having,
and it's just like dang.
Dev's been having a real life Vermin Sermon.
Yeah, we are. It is.
Put it that way.
It
He's been
is.
having. With me,
Yeah.
my Vermin Sermon is more positive than anything. So, but because the Polytechnic and the university, because as a design student at the uni, I go to I spend 95% of my time at the Poly because they have all the equipment, right?
Yeah.
Even bigger problem was they didn't give the third years because of like arguments about like when each like lab workshop and all that can be used.
Mm.
We didn't get our timetables until 5 weeks in, and there is actually a clause where if we haven't been able to give you your timetables to do your work for 50% of the term, 5 weeks or semester, 5 weeks, we have to pass you.
Mm.
So we
Oh,
just got
okay.
passed. We didn't do anything. We didn't go once. We passed. And
Nice.
they're like giving us our timetables. I'm thinking, bro, hopefully, you surely know none of us will come in, right? Like, I might come in soon just so I can
Oh,
order some like
wow.
blank hoodies and stuff to like do some screen printing experiments on. But like, besides that, nah, I'm good, fam.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Before we end it,
So I had a positive Vermin Sermon.
this is me in the past to all the people who bring this up 10 years later, because I said something about like people not being able to afford a console. Hello, and feel free to watch the rest of the episode if you're brought here by the inevitable controversy. So I think on that
The
note,
inevitable
yeah,
controversy.
yeah,
Oh
let's
my
go,
god,
let's
rev it
go.
up, boys.
Yeah.
Because imagine what would happen is we get the controversy and be like, oh, they said something, and then they're like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
for some reason I actually like these two guys. Let's keep watching this shit. Imagine
That's
that just
probably not gonna
happens.
happen. Let's be real here, but
Hell
whatever.
no. But then again,
No.
it has happened to some shows where they got controversial, and then they're like, oh, these actually just kind of well made. I
Yeah.
don't really, yeah, it's just weird. To be
Yeah.
fair, people's, and in a way, even if they hated us, people love to spend a lot of time on things they don't enjoy.
Yeah, that's true.
For some
I
reason.
spent a lot
You
of
know.
time on Need for Speed Heat. You know what I'm saying?
Woo! To be fair, for the
Uh,
time I did spend on NFS Heat, I do enjoy it, but it just
Oh
empty for me
man,
now.
I
So
had I had an
load it.
absolute blast when I first played through it. I was just
100%
stuck right
banger.
through it. Like my
Banger.
life for that weekend was complete chaos. Like if I'm
I like to
if I'm
review
not
games
working on
now.
something, I was on Heat. But
I like to
yeah.
review games in like 3 phases. So there's like the honeymoon phase when it
Mhm.
first comes out, like a couple weeks later, which is the fallout, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then there's just like what happens after you've done the game, like post game, how it's treated, DLC.
Mhm.
And it's like Heat was a banger at first,
Yeah, it was.
and then like it was like a relationship, which is like a whirlwind, and then it's like, okay, hell, I dumped this bitch already.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. All right. On that note, I think we've been going on for quite a bit.
Oh,
So
wore out its welcome.
yeah. All right. On that note, we will see you guys all in the next one.